Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic. If you didn't happen to be here, perhaps it's time to meet your soul. Dear Libra, come closer. Let us quiet the world for a moment and listen to the subtle music playing just beneath the surface of your life. Have you felt it recently? A silent presence that walks beside you when you are alone. A fleeting sense of being guided by something unseen. A thought that appears in your mind, fully formed, with a wisdom that does not feel entirely your own. You may have dismissed it as imagination, but be still and know this. You are being watched. But do not be alarmed. This is not the gaze of a stranger. It is the steady, loving presence of a spiritual guardian, an ancestral force of nature that has been assigned to your soul. This sacred guardian has been attempting to communicate with you, to show you signs, to remind you of a power and a grace you have forgotten you possess. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not leave a soul unprotected. And the guardian that walks with you was not chosen at random. It is a living extension of your soul's purpose, a mirror to the challenges you came here to overcome, and a key to the profound transformation you are now ready to embrace. When you feel lost in indecision, it whispers the path of true balance. When you are about to sacrifice your needs on the altar of another's comfort, it sends a pang of resistance to your heart. And when you are ready to evolve, it presents you with the very challenges that will force you to grow. This guardian has been waiting for you to be ready. It has seen every invisible scar on your soul, every tear you have swallowed to keep a fragile peace, every time you have silenced your own truth because you were taught that being kind was more important than being real. It has seen it all, and it has been patiently waiting for the moment you would be ready to finally recognize it, to recognize yourself. You have spent so much of your life searching for balance outside of yourself, in relationships that drain your energy, in people who mistake your kindness for weakness, in environments that subtly demand you be smaller than you truly are. But you never realized that within you lies an ancient and powerful force. A spiritual guardian who embodies all the elegance you admire, all the strength you secretly desire, and all the transformation your soul so deeply yearns for. Close your eyes for just a moment, Libra. Breathe and feel. Can you sense a gentle yet unyielding presence? An energy that flows with the grace of water, but holds the power to become a storm when its sacred domain is threatened. This is not your imagination. This is your guardian, your soul's archetype, trying to connect with you. And today, finally, you will discover its name. You will understand why certain images, certain symbols, certain forms of quiet, elegant strength have always spoken directly to the deepest part of your soul. Have you ever wondered why? Despite being so naturally diplomatic and kind, there is another side of you that very few people ever see. A side that can become fiercely, implacably protective when someone you love is being unjustly attacked. A side that holds an ancient, innate wisdom about relationships, about beauty, about how to navigate the chaotic waters of the world without losing your own serene center. This side of you does not come from your personality. It comes from it, from your spiritual protector, who whispers strategies in your ear when you face difficult decisions, who lends you its strength when you are about to give up, who reminds you of the queen or king you truly are, especially when the world is trying to convince you that you are a pawn. During your childhood, you likely had strange and vivid dreams. Dreams where you moved with a grace you did not possess in your waking life. Dreams where you felt both powerful and elegant, a combination that seemed impossible in the real world. Dreams of gliding over vast, crystal-clear lakes. These were not ordinary dreams, my dear Libra. They were visitations, They were your guardian animal, visiting you in the liminal space of the dream world, trying to show you the magnificent being you could become if you would only stop shrinking yourself to fit into the small, cramped spaces the world offers you. Libra, the sacred energy, the spiritual archetype that protects you, is the Swan. And no, this is not merely poetic or symbolic. It is energetically literal. There is an ancient, archetypal energy of this majestic creature that chose to align with your soul in this lifetime. It saw in you the divine potential for the same radical transformation that it represents. The journey from the clumsy, misunderstood duckling into the breathtakingly majestic swan. The journey from the person who hides behind a facade of false harmony to the one who creates true, authentic harmony through the power of their presence alone. Do you know why the swan chose you? It is because it recognized in your soul the same sacred duality it carries within itself. On the surface, an unparalleled elegance, a serene gentleness, a vision of peace. But beneath that placid surface, a strength so profound it can break the arm of any predator who dares to harm it or those it protects. You have always known this strength existed within you, haven't you? But you were taught to hide it. You were conditioned by a world that fears complexity to believe that being strong and being gentle were mutually exclusive. But the swan knows the truth. True elegance is born from controlled strength. True peace is the result of a power so immense it has no need to prove itself. True beauty is the radiance of authenticity, not the performance of pleasantness. Every time you have looked in the mirror and felt that something essential was missing, it is because you were not seeing the swan within. Every time you have felt small and powerless in the face of aggressive or manipulative people, it is because you have forgotten that you carry the ancestral strength of a creature who can be lethal when necessary, but chooses grace as its primary way of moving through the world. Your spiritual protection does not come from a brutish, aggressive warrior. It comes from something far more powerful, a being who has achieved total mastery over its own energy and emotions. The swan chose you because it saw that you had the innate capacity to learn one of the most difficult lessons in the universe: how to love without losing yourself, how to connect without diminishing yourself, how to create beauty without sacrificing yourself on its altar. But to learn these lessons, you must first have the courage to recognize that you have been betraying yourself for years, that you have used your noble desire for harmony as an excuse to avoid necessary, soul-defining confrontations, that you have confused self-love with selfishness, and as a result, have created a string of unbalanced relationships where you give everything and receive only emotional crumbs in return. Your guardian swan is tired of watching you diminish yourself. It is tired of seeing you gratefully accept less than you deserve, because you are afraid of appearing demanding. It is tired of seeing you give the key to your own inner peace to people who don't even recognize the profound gift of having you in their lives. And that is why it is revealing itself to you now, with such urgency. It is here to remind you of who you truly are, beneath all the layers of conditioning that taught you to be nice instead of being real. When the swan was young, a metaphorical duckling, before it discovered its true nature, it too felt out of place. It too tried to fit in with flocks where it did not belong. It too accepted harsh treatment from lesser birds because it did not yet know its own worth. But one day, something inside it awakened, an ancestral memory, a divine reminder that it was not born to crawl on the ground with those who peck and squabble. It was born to fly. It was born to glide through the waters with an elegance that commands silent admiration. It was born to be a living example that it is possible to be both powerful and gentle, both serene and formidable. You, dear Libra, are going through that same awakening right now. And it is no coincidence that you are here, listening to these words. Your guardian Swan has guided you to this message, because it is time. It is time to stop pretending you are less than you are. It is time for you to fully embrace your true nature. Someone who creates beauty wherever you go, not because you need to please others, but because beauty is your soul's native language. Someone who brings balance to chaotic situations, not by shrinking and submitting, but by elevating yourself to a perspective where you can see solutions that others, lost in the drama, can't even imagine exist. In the coming days, I want you to pay close attention to the signs your guardian Swan sends you. You may begin to see swans in the most unexpected places in art, in videos, in casual conversations. You may have vivid dreams of flying over water or of looking at your reflection and seeing something majestic looking back. You may feel a sudden, inexplicable urge to distance yourself from people and situations that drain your energy and disturb your peace. These are not coincidences. These are direct communications from your spiritual guardian, lovingly guiding you back to your own authentic truth. The swan knows a particular kind of pain that few other creatures understand. It is the pain of being misunderstood, the pain of being seen as mere decoration when you are in fact a force of nature, the pain of having your immense inner strength consistently underestimated because you choose to move with grace rather than with aggression. It recognizes this same pain in you, Libra. The pain of being reduced to the nice one, the one who never makes trouble, when in fact you are the one who has the wisdom to choose your battles. The pain of being seen as superficial or indecisive, when in fact you are someone who understands that true power lies not in chaos, but in self-control. But the pain you share is not just about being misunderstood. It is about betrayal. The swan knows the profound pain of trusting the wrong creatures, of giving its loyalty to those who did not deserve it, of believing that everyone operates with the same pure intentions as it does. You know this pain intimately, don't you? How many times have you opened your heart to people who then used your vulnerabilities against you? How many times have you poured your beautiful, harmonizing energy into those who only wanted to drain you with no intention of ever giving back? How many times have you forgiven behavior in others that you would never, ever accept from yourself? This pain is a part of your awakening process. Do not resent it. The swan went through the same school of hard knocks. It learned, the hard way, that not everyone deserves access to your heart. That affection is not an obligation. That forgiveness does not mean accepting repeated disrespect. And now, it wants to teach you what it has learned. That you can maintain your loving, gentle nature without becoming anyone's doormat. That you can be kind without being naive. That you can seek harmony without accepting injustice. The swan carries an ancestral memory of being hunted for its very beauty, of being pursued and endangered precisely for the qualities that made it special. You too carry this soul memory. It is why you sometimes feel deeply uncomfortable when you shine too brightly. It is why you may subconsciously sabotage yourself when things are going too well. It is why you might accept mediocre situations instead of striving for the extraordinary life you know deep down you deserve. Your soul's subconscious still believes that standing out is dangerous, that being too beautiful, too successful, or too happy attracts envy and attack, that it is safer to be forgettable than to be unforgettable. But your guardian swan is here to tell you that this time is over. It is time to stop hiding your light behind a veil of mediocrity to avoid the attacks of lesser beings. It is time for you to shine in your full, authentic glory, and to allow those who have a problem with your light to fade naturally from your life. Because the truth is, you were not born to be merely pleasant or acceptable. You were born to be a presence that leaves a mark, someone who transforms environments simply by entering them, someone who inspires others to pursue their own excellence just by being you. When the swan finally accepts its true, majestic nature, something magical happens. It stops trying to blend in with the ducks. It stops trying to fly in flocks that are headed in the wrong direction. It begins to seek out other swans. It finds its true flock. It finds souls who not only tolerate its grandeur, but celebrate it, who are not threatened by its beauty, but are inspired by it, who do not try to diminish it, but instead raise the level of their own behavior to match the serene and powerful energy it brings. This will happen to you too, Libra, when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into small, cramped social circles. You will discover that there are vast, open spaces waiting for you, filled with people who not only deserve your energy, but who truly value it. You will find situations that not only tolerate your excellence, but demand it. You will create environments where you can be completely, unapologetically yourself, without fear of judgment or envy. But this transformation is not automatic. It requires a conscious choice, repeated every single day. The choice to honor the swan within you, instead of trying to please a world that often wants to see you small. The choice to give your precious energy only to those who have proven they are worthy of it. The choice to create beauty because it is your nature, not because someone expects it of you. The choice to seek balance through unwavering authenticity, not through meek conformity. Your guardian swan has watched you fight your own nature for years. It has seen you force yourself to like people your soul rejects. It has seen you force yourself to accept situations that feel deeply wrong. It has seen you force yourself to be endlessly understanding of behaviors that are, by any objective measure, unacceptable. And it wants you to know that this is not spirituality. This is self-sabotage, disguised as kindness. True Libran spirituality comes from recognizing that you have not only the right, but the sacred responsibility to create boundaries, to choose who you share your energy with, and to demand reciprocity in your relationships. The swan is majestic to all, but it reserves its intimate kindness for those who have demonstrated they deserve it. And this is the most important lesson it can teach you. Your dignity is not optional. Do you know the ultimate difference between a swan and other birds on the lake? The swan never forgets that it can fly. Even when it is swimming placidly on the surface, appearing to be just like the others, it remains constantly aware that at any moment it can spread its powerful wings and soar into the heavens. It never completely identifies with its temporary limitations. It never forgets who it truly is, beneath its present circumstances. You, my dear Libra, have forgotten that you can fly. You have identified so closely with your current limitations, be they financial, relational, or professional, that you have lost sight of your true, limitless potential. You have settled for swimming in small, familiar ponds, when you were born to soar over vast oceans. Your guardian swan is here to remind you that your current circumstances do not define your future possibilities. They are just the pond you happen to be swimming in now. They are not the full extent of your territory. When you begin to truly honor the swan within, people will notice. They will comment that you have changed, that there is something different about the way you move, the way you speak, the way you take up space in a room. And they will be right, because when you stop hiding behind diminished versions of yourself, your natural, majestic presence shines through. And that presence is magnetic, not in a loud, attention-seeking way, but in a quiet way that naturally inspires respect and admiration. Some people may feel uncomfortable with your transformation. Those who benefited from your old tendency to diminish yourself will almost certainly try to convince you to return to your previous state. They will accuse you of being different or changed, as if that were a negative thing. Your guardian swan wants you to know that these reactions are merely a confirmation that you are on the right path. When you stop accepting less than you deserve, those who profited from your self-neglect will always try to make you feel guilty for the change. The swan teaches a final, valuable lesson about relationships. It does not try to convince anyone to stay in its life. It simply is who it is, with all its majesty and beauty, and it allows each person to decide whether or not they want to be a part of its reality. Those who choose to stay are rewarded with a loyalty and affection that is deep and true. Those who choose to leave are released with dignity, without drama or desperate attempts at persuasion. You must learn this same wisdom. Stop trying to convince people to value you. Stop contorting yourself to fit other people's narrow standards. Stop accepting emotional crumbs from those who should be offering you a banquet. When you embrace your true, majestic, elegant, and powerful nature, only those who are truly worthy of your energy will remain by your side.